So this week on the show, I really took the press, I think, to pieces, bit by bit, left little bits of them along the ground and then swept them up and threw them away as they deserve. But we didn't really go into every moment of the Trump town hall. We're not going to do that now, but we're going to take a look at some of the highlights of the Trump town hall at CNN and the reaction, which are funnier, I think, than the town hall itself. Before we begin, this video is sponsored by Genucel. Go to genucel.com/ClavanYT, and you can try Genucel's most popular package for 70% off. That's genucel.com/ClavanYT.
I'll be doing CNN tonight live from the great state of New Hampshire because CNN is rightfully desperate to get those fantastic Trump ratings back. They were ratings like none other, and they want them back. They made me a deal I couldn't refuse. Could be the beginning of a new and vibrant CNN with no more fake news, or it could be a total disaster for all, including me. Let's see what happens tonight at 8 o'clock.
He's a showman.
Tell me, do you want to go where it's covered in all the colored lights?
This is the thing about them. The reason they hate him is because he's one of them.
He was one of us.
And what I loved is afterwards, the ratings were, I don't know, there were about 3 million people, which was down from when he was at his height. And Brian Stelter was saying, well, it was only 3 million people, so it wasn't a lot. But that is funny stuff, Trump plugging it as if it were an episode of The Apprentice.
You're fired.
All right, let's see some of the clips from the town hall itself.
Do you have any regrets about your actions on January 6th?
Well, January 6th was, again, we go back to it, but January 6th had to do with the fact that hundreds of thousands of people, I've never spoken to a crowd as large as this, and that was because they thought the election was rigged. And they were there proud. They were there with love in their heart. That was an unbelievable, and it was a beautiful day.
That's not what they want to hear.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
They've been arresting people. I'm surprised Biden hasn't been arrested for just being in Washington, D.C. Oh, maybe he wasn't there yet.
Oh, come on.
My point on this has been the same. I don't think we should storm the Capitol. I think that was a bad thing to do. It was a stupid thing to do. It made Trump supporters look bad, but they have turned that moment into the Reichstag fire, which was when Hitler used a genuine incident when a socialist set the German Reichstag on fire, and used that to become a dictator. They have overused that the same way, and they don't like hearing him still standing up to them.
They were breaking into the Capitol, smashing windows, injuring police officers. Why did it take you 3 hours to tell them to go home?
I don't believe it did. Oh, let me pull it out. I have to pull it out. January 6th, this is before 2:30. I am asking for everyone at the U.S. Capitol to remain peaceful. This is right after, as it was happening. But what happened is they took it down. I don't know why. I think they took it down because it was so good. They didn't like it being up there.
Mr. President, I looked at the same timeline that you did.
No, but you didn't report that. You know why? Because it was taken down.
We did report it.
I like pulling the emails out of his jacket. This was an embarrassment for CNN, not because they had him on. That's what they were apologizing for. They were apologizing for the fact that they had him on at all. It was an embarrassment because they don't interview the guy. If they would interview the guy instead of fighting with him, they would actually come off better if they would just let him talk and then respond. You can respond to something like that by reading other people's opinions. But they're so big. They treat him like Godzilla. They treat him like he's Godzilla stomping on Manhattan, and they're going to open fire on him like the military. And that doesn't work for the military in Godzilla movies, and it doesn't work for CNN when they go up against Trump.
Usually you leave office, you say, I'm sorry, but I'm going back home. I'm back home to my family and everything. I'm going to be resigning. My poll numbers went up, and they went up with the other fake charge, too. Because what's happening is they're doing this for election interference. This woman, I don't know her. I never met her. I have no idea who she is.
I don't necessarily believe Trump, but the one thing is true. This was a tremendous miscarriage of justice. It was a tremendous abuse of the law. And this is the thing. They think he's so evil. They think he's so bad that anything they do is going to play. And it doesn't play. It's ridiculous to let somebody bring a 25-year-old charge. And she doesn't know whether it's 25, 26, what year it took place. First, they pass a law saying she has a year to do this when no one's ever been able to do it before because of the statute of limitations. 9 jurors say, no, he didn't rape her, but will give her $5 million anyway.
It's not.
I think most people think of rape as being sexy.
It's just amazing what they'll do. They degrade themselves to get at him instead of doing their job, which might actually hurt Trump if they actually interviewed him fairly and gave him a chance to speak, but also questioned him honestly. Hey, did you know our friends at Genucel have upgraded their most popular package to feature their top-selling deep-firming vitamin C serum plus ultra-retinol moisturizer with natural retinol alternative. Right now, you can take advantage of this limited-time package upgrade for 70% off. Why waste time and money to go get work done on your face when you can get Genucel skincare shipped right to your door? Genucel's secret is a family recipe for over 20 years that makes it safe for all skin types and perfect for both men and women. Made by a compounding pharmacist in small batches and always safe, cruelty-free, and natural. My marketing manager loves Genucel's under eye bag cream. She said she cannot go a day without it. Go to Genucel.com/ClavanYT and try Genucel's most popular package for 70% off, featuring both Genucel's Ultra Retinol and Genucel's Firming Serum. Get a complimentary Spa Essentials box with every package order, plus free upgrade to priority shipping. That's Genucel.com/ClavanYT, Genucel.com/ClavanYT.
You held on to those documents when you knew the federal government was seeking them and then had given you a subpoena to return
Are
them.
you ready? Are you ready? Can I talk?
Yeah, what's
You
the
mind?
answer?
Do you mind?
I would like for you to answer the question.
Okay, it's very simple to answer.
That's why I asked it.
It's very simple to. You're a nasty person, I'll tell you.
You know, I said this on the show on Friday. The reason that people applaud for that is because the media is so bad.
This is mostly a protest, but fires have been started.
I mean, if the media would take stock of itself, if they would look in the mirror and say, oh, we suck, then they would actually be able to handle Trump better. They hate Trump because he does to them exactly what the media has been doing to the rest of us for 50 years.
Right now, we are so far ahead of both Democrat and Republican. And you know what? If I don't win, this country is going to be in big trouble. It's so sad to see what's happening.
But no commitment there on the accepting the results regardless of the outcome.
If it's an honest election, correct, I will.
Okay, so not committing to accepting the 2024 election results.
Why should he accept them if it's not going to be an honest election? And, you know, this is the thing. They never dealt with his complaints. His complaints, the things that he said about the election were true, that it was rigged, that the Hunter Biden tape was unfairly suppressed, that conservative voices were suppressed on Twitter and elsewhere, that there was changing of the rules against the constitutions of the state of Pennsylvania. But they never listened. If they would just listen to him, they would come across so much better. But they can't do it because of the reaction. We'll take a look at the reaction now. CNN should be ashamed of themselves. They have lost total control of their town hall to again be manipulated into platforming election disinformation, defenses of January 6th, and a public attack on a sexual abuse victim. The audience is cheering him on and laughing at the host. Well, let's take a look at that.
Take a look, it's in a book, a reading rainbow.
They platformed election disinformation. There wasn't. What he said was true about the Twitter files and about the Hunter Biden laptop. What is Alexandria? What country is she living in? She's living in Alexandriaville, you know. She's living in Ocasio-Cortez world where there is no constitution and only her opinions are allowed to be aired. But that just makes her a Democrat.
We're in a break now from the presidential town hall with CNN, Caitlin Collins, and whatever the they thought they were going to get out of this, they instead have set a match to democracy once again. This insanity should be pulled off the air. Chris Licht, you should be ashamed of yourself. This is astoundingly bad for the brand of CNN. It's astoundingly bad for the country. And it's astoundingly bad, honestly, folks, for every other Republican candidate in the primaries. Wrap that shit up. It's done. You saw this tonight. You know you can't beat him on the stage. Everybody else, oars up. Time to go to work because he's going to be the nominee. This shit is unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it. It is a disaster of the highest degree.
But did you like it?
He did.
These are guys who called Trump Hitler. They called Trump Adolf Hitler. This is a guy who worked for the Lincoln Project, where people were found to be of all kinds of sexual misconduct at the Lincoln Project.
Naughty, naughty.
It never occurs to them. It never occurs to them that we don't compare Trump to Trump. We compare Trump to them. We compare Trump to them, and Trump comes out looking great because of who they are. Well, let's see more. There's the lovable Anderson Cooper.
Many of you are upset that someone who attempted to destroy our democracy was invited to sit on a stage in front of a crowd of Republican voters to answer questions and predictably continued to spew lie after lie after lie. And I get it. It was disturbing. And it was certainly disturbing to hear that audience, young and old, our fellow citizens, people who love their kids and go to church, laugh and applaud his lies and his continued defamation of a woman who, according to a jury of his peers, he's sexually abused and defamed.
You're fascinating to talk to.
As good a job as Caitlin Collins did trying to fact check him, it is impossible to fact check fully because he lies so shamelessly. That man you were so upset to hear from last night, he may be president of the United States in less than 2 years. And that audience that upset you, that's a sampling of about half the country. They are your family members, your neighbors, and they are voting. And many said they're voting for him.
Get them! Stop them now! They're in your house!
You guys give up, or you're thirsty for more?
Chiron at the bottom says, what you saw. So that is the whole problem with these guys, is they're going to tell you what you saw. You were looking at it. You were looking at it. Maybe you saw something different than what Anderson Cooper saw, but you're not allowed because he's going to tell you what you saw.
Did you see that? Did you see it? Did you see what? Wow.
That's it. We've gone through them all. What can I say? What can I say? You know, I'll tell you something. If our news media were not as corrupt, if it were not as dishonest, if it were not lying to half the country all the time, Donald Trump would have no power. His power is their lies. If they were a little bit more honest, a little bit more fair, he would look like less. And I think that we wouldn't have Joe Biden as president, and I don't think we'd have Donald Trump as president either. But they just can't stop themselves.
Can't stop addicted to the shindig.
If you love stomping on our dishonest and corrupt media, like and subscribe. Also, subscribe to The Andrew Klavan Show wherever you get your podcasts.